Do you want early access? Do you want uncut reactions? If so, then check out our Patreon. Link in the description down below. This episode is actually titled The Cave of the Two Lovers, actually.
Oh, I love this episode. This is a, I just gotta say, this is more of a filler episode, but this one hits you right in the feels.
Yeah.
Like this is a traditional Japanese story, shown in the eyes in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
And, yeah, I remember this episode. I actually remembered, I don't know if it was the debut of it, but I remembered watching this and just being like, damn, this is actually really cool. Like them telling this story, and then me finding out later that it was actually a classic Japanese folklore story that they adapted into this.
There's actually plays of this done in theater, but I mean, obviously we don't live in Japan, so you're probably never going to see one of those in the United States.
Probably not. But if we ever do take a trip to Japan, I wouldn't mind going to see it.
That'd be awesome. I'd love to go see a traditional Japanese theater.
Of course, the number one thing I'm checking out if we ever get to go to Japan is Ninja.
Ninja?
The restaurant.
It's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, it's got a secret entrance.
I want to go to Princess Mononoke Forest.
Oh, you want to go to...
The actual forest from Princess Mononoke.
Careful, because part of it's the Aokigahara Forest.
It's actually, I looked at it, whatever. It's, a lot of the forest around that area look the same, but it is not the Suicide Forest.
Well, it's very similar, yeah, but still, I mean...
But
I don't know if I'd like to go into the Aokigahara Forest.
There's people that's actually fans that have made kodamas and stuck them up all around the place.
So
you go through there and kind of count how many you can see and stuff.
Ooh,
kodama. Dude, that'd be awesome.
I could imagine going into that forest and taking a selfie and all of a sudden you everyone sees all the kodamas behind you. Just be like, what a beautiful day in the forest. Take the picture and it's just nothing but a bunch of kodamas behind you and everyone's just like, dude, you need to look behind you. And it's just like, what?
They're all glowing.
Yeah.
Be there at nighttime. They're all lit up.
Yeah. That'd be so cool.
But yeah, the scene in Princess Mononoke when the wolf spirit comes out and Princess Mononoke is sucking the blood from her wound. She turns and looks. That's an actual spot where he actually went to and visited it and painted that out.
Oh, by the river.
Yes.
Whenever Moro stands up with the bullet still in her
she
in her
spits
neck.
the blood out and looks back at her.
Yeah.
Back at Ashitaka.
Ashitaka.
Yeah, but that is a beautiful scene. I think it would just give me chills to see that in person because that movie was such a big part of my childhood.
Oh, me too, dude. I remember first time I watched it was when it first debuted on TV on the Action Channel back in 1999 or 2000.
97.
I was when it came out in Japan.
Yeah, pretty sure it came out in America, launched too, as well. But it was funded by Harvey Weinstein. When Harvey Weinstein tried to screw him over on some of the stuff, and they had to delay it a little bit.
And but thankfully the dub was overseen by John Lasseter because Miramax still had to deal with Disney at the time.
Yeah, and Miyazaki actually sent Harvey Weinstein a
katana, no
and
cuts.
It said no cuts.
Yeah, I told that story before.
Like, whoa.
It was because the first film that they ever tried to release of his in the West, Nausicaa, they recut and butchered 30 minutes out of it. And he was
Harvey
so
Weinstein
pissed about
and
that.
the Weinstein Corporation don't know shit about Japanese anime. It's
no,
get out
well,
of here.
and that's why they hired John Lasseter as the dub overseer because he understood.
So even though, you're right, it did get delayed quite a while because of that. But when it
you guys are gonna be done soon, right? We've got a lot of ground to cover if we want to make it to Oma and Shu today.
What? Like you're ready to go right now, naked guy?
I can be ready in 2 minutes.
Your arms are too far apart. See, if you move them closer together, you protect your center. You got it?
That's cool.
You make a fine octopus, Pupil Ang.
My man.
Hey, river people.
We're not river people.
You're not? Well, then
It's
what kind of
Dante.
people are you?
Just people.
Aren't we all, brother?
Who are you?
I'm Chong, and this is my wife, Lily.
You're looking at the rare white dragon bush. Its leaves make a tea so delicious it's heartbreaking. That, or it's the white jade bush, which is poisonous.
Look, I hate to be the wet blanket here, but since Katara is busy, I guess it's up to me. We need to get to Oma and Shu.
Sounds like someone's got a case of destination fever. You're worried too much about where you're going.
We need to find King Boomy so Aang can learn earthbending somewhere safe.
Well, sounds like you're headed to Oma and Shu. There's an old story about a secret pass right through the mountains. Two lovers forbidden from one another. A war divides their people. Yeah, I forget the next couple lines, but then it goes. Secret tunnel! Secret tunnel!
Thanks for the
Secret
help, but Appa
tunnels.
hates going underground.
Secret
and we need to do whatever makes Appa most comfortable.
Okay, let's take the path.
Secret love cave, let's go.
Remember that plant I thought might be tea?
You didn't.
I did. And it wasn't. When the rash spreads to my throat, I will stop breathing. But look what I found! Known to cure the poison of the white jade plant. That or macaole berries that cause blindness.
We're not taking any more chances with these plants.
The lovers didn't want anyone to find out about their love, so they built a whole labyrinth.
Labyrinth?
I'm sure we'll figure it out.
All you need to do is trust in love, according to the curse.
Curse!
Only those that trust in love can make it through the caves. Otherwise, you'll be trapped in them forever.
And die.
I just remember the rest of that song. And die.
It's too dangerous. Haven't you heard the song? Just close them in. The mountain will take care of the rest.
Chong, how long do those torches last?
About 2 hours each.
And we have 5 torches, so that's 10 hours.
It doesn't work like that if they're all lit at the same time.
Do you have names?
Names? Of course we have names. I'm Lee. And this is my uncle, Mushi.
Why don't you stay for dinner?
Sorry, but we need to be moving on.
That's too bad. My mom always makes too much roast duck.
Where do you live exactly?
This doesn't make any sense. We already came through this way.
We don't need a map. We just need love.
The tunnels are changing.
When I was a little girl, the Fire Nation raided our farming village. All the men were taken away. That was the last time I saw my father.
Damn.
It's a giant flying thing with teeth!
No! It's a wolf bat!
Fire Nation has hurt you. It's okay. They've hurt me too.
Don't let the falling rocks turn your smile into a frown. When the tunnel.
I'd snap every string on that guitar,
You need a clown.
and I'd just be.
Don't let the cave in get you down.
Appa no give a damn.
This isn't the exit.
No. It's a tomb. It must be the 2 lovers from the legend. That's who's buried here.
These pictures tell their story. The villages were enemies, so they could not be together. But their love was strong, and they found a way. The 2 lovers learned earthbending from the badger moles. They became the first earthbenders. They built elaborate tunnels so that they could meet secretly. Anyone who tried to follow them would be lost forever in the labyrinth. But one day the man didn't come. He died in the war between their 2 villages. Devastated, the woman unleashed a terrible display of her earthbending power. She could have destroyed them all. Instead, she declared the war over. Both villages helped her build a new city where they would live together in peace. The woman's name was Oma, and the man's name was Shu. The great city was named Oma and Shu as a monument to their
Okay.
love. Love is brightest in the dark.
If love is the key out of here, then all we need to do is play a love song.
The curse says we'll be trapped in here forever unless we trust in love.
Right?
And here it says love is brightest in the dark, and has a picture of them kissing. What if we kissed?
Us kissing?
See, it was a crazy idea.
Nope.
Us kissing.
Us kissing.
I definitely wouldn't want to kiss you.
Oh, well, I didn't realize it was such a horrible option. Sorry I suggested it.
No.
You put your foot in your mouth,
if
kid.
It was a choice between kissing you and dying.
It brings me joy to see someone eat my cooking with such gusto.
Much practice.
Don't.
What are you doing? These people just showed you great kindness.
They're about to show us a little more kindness.
What are we gonna do?
What can we do?
Oh, hell. There's a lot of them.
They were trying to get away from something.
From what?
Whoops. A giant mole badger. 2 giant mole badgers.
Okay, that's terrifying.
That would be very terrifying.
Those things are music lovers.
Badger moles coming toward me. Come on, guys, help me out.
The bad moles who work in the tunnels, hate the wolf bats but love the sound.
That's how the 2 lovers found each other. They just put out their lights and followed the crystals. That must be the way out.
Good job. Good
What
boy.
about Sokka?
Badger
How
moles,
did you
badger
guys get out?
moles,
Just
badger
like the
moles.
legend says, we let love lead the way.
Really? We let huge, ferocious beasts lead our way.
Why's your forehead all red?
Bobo was just like, holy crap,
Nobody
man.
react
Gotta
to
tell
what
you
I'm
about what happened.
to tell you.
I was just like, that's
I
crazy.
think that kid might be the Avatar.
That's what it is.
Even if you're lost, you can't lose the love because it's in your heart.
The journey was long and annoying, but now you get to see what it's really about. The destination.
Oh no.
OMG. That's not good. Well,
shit.
that sucks. Yeah, so Omashu is no Mashu. No more Omashu. Jesus.
Hope that doesn't mean Boomy got killed.
Well,
I mean, he is already over 100, so.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
but still, he's cool.
You know. Oh, yeah, he's super cool, but, I mean, when you're pushing, like, what, 112 or something?
yeah.
I mean.
He was a little bit younger than Aang, but over 100. What would you call that? I know an octogenarian is 80 years old.
That's a
An
centurion.
octogenarian is 90.
Centurion.
Centurion?
Mm-hmm. Anybody that's over 100 is a centurion. I don't know about 110 though.
Is it? Well, I
I don't
guess
know.
because you have a centennial too, but I don't know. Because they made that movie Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams.
Yeah.
He's 200 years old.
Yeah.
They
I don't know.
also have a place in Japan, outside of Okinawa, where they have an entire village, and everybody in that village is almost over 100 years old.
Well, yeah,
right
it's,
around the area.
it's because of their health and their
They're
diet.
still climbing trees and shit. They're still climbing trees, picking fruits, and farming and busting ass every day. It's like, damn.
Well, it's hey.
But that's what they express a lot in that little area is food health. They
Well, I mean,
live to be a long time.
Well, yeah. Well, also, Iceland also has a lot of health and food laws that they uphold and everything to keep their land as like GMO free as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And Iceland actually has a very high age pool, and they're giants. Most of the men there are huge. Average height I believe is 6'2".
They said that if you're really tall, around 7 foot, that typically they don't live as long because their hearts have to work a lot harder.
Yeah,
I don't know for sure though, but I figured it was a lot of the Asian cultures live longer because they're so short.
It'd be hard on your joints, the taller you are.
Well, I think the thing with Asian culture is that they actually did an experiment. They did a stress experiment. They took a Japanese family and gave them the eating habits of Americans, and then they took Americans and gave them the eating habits of the Japanese. And you know what happened?
I'd say probably the people.
I'd say the health role's probably reversed.
Yeah, I'd say reversed.
Actually, no. They showed that the changes in their dietary processes were minor. They showed that the only thing that changed was that the Japanese family experienced a little bit higher cholesterol, and the American family experienced a bit of a weight loss. But then they changed up one other thing. They changed up media consumption habits. They did Japanese media consumption habits, and then they changed it to American consumption habits. And they showed that the people who had the American consumption habits, especially the ones who watched news programs, experienced high levels of stress, and thus were more prone to heart disease. So
that's why you need the power of God and anime on your side if you want to live a long, healthy life.
Jesus.
Or according to the Nomads, just sing songs.
Just sing songs.
Just sing songs and enjoy the journey, man. Yeah. Or just pretty much be like Jack Kerouac and just keep living outside of cities and just be like, yeah, man, this is just how we live, bro. We're nothing but nomads.
Life on the road.
Yeah. Or what was that kid's name from Into the Wild? Alexander Supertramp?
I don't know.
It was that movie Into the Wild that Christopher McCandless, I think was his name, and he wound up at this. His end goal, his journey was to go to Alaska and live in the wilds in Alaska for as long as he wanted to. And he got up there in wintertime and found a bus. And he pretty much lived in that bus for, I forget how long. But after a set amount of time, he decided, I need to get home. I need to go home. But there was a problem. By the time he decided to go home, it was summertime. And the ice the ice shelf that he crossed over to get to where the bus is, was now a gigantic raging river. And there was no civilization that he knew of within that vicinity that he could walk to safely because, keep in mind, this is Alaska. Kodiak bears, big friggin' moose and everything like that. And the only thing he had on him for that was a little rifle, which only had a limited number of bullets. And, yeah, and he wound up eating a plant that was not good for him, and he wound up dying of starvation in that bus, and they found his body about 2 weeks after he died, and they found his diary, and it was pretty much him expressing he made a mistake coming out here and not telling anyone where he was going,
or apparently not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
That's number one safety rule when you go out in the great outdoors is let somebody know where you're going.
Exactly.
So if something happens and you disappear for a while, they can come look for you.
His thing was he wanted to reclaim his so-called identity as a natural man.
Well, then you better know what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
well, that's what you see. But you see, they tried to romanticize it with a film, Into the Wild, and try to show because his journey ended in Alaska, but his journey actually began a long time before. He drove his family's car that his family gave him down to New Mexico. He donated all the money he had left over from his parents gave him after he graduated college. He donated it, and he burned every piece of identifying information that he had. He burned it in a pile and then just took off and just went on a journey. He met up with a bunch of hippies in California, traveled with them a little bit, went to Kansas, worked on a grain farm, learned about grain elevators and everything about that. And mostly he just worked odd jobs every now and again, and he would often work without shoes on, and people would often tell him, hey man, when you come into work, we like that you work here, you're really cool, but you need to wear shoes. And he even kayaked down a river. He kayaked so far down, he kayaked across the U.S.-Mexican border.
Oh Lord!
And he had to hitchhike back, and he left his boat behind.
Whoops.
And it's actually a really interesting movie, but his ignorance of the wilds of Alaska is really what was his downfall. And if he would have learned enough to know what to do up there, maybe he would have survived. But
better know what you're doing.
Alaska is hard to survive in just because of the sheer temperature that it gets once a year.
Well,
if you was
yeah.
in something like the Amazon, it'll drive you crazy mad because of the heat and the humidity. But eventually you can get used to that, unless you won't freeze to death. But then you got a lot more dangerous predators to deal with.
Look, if I were to watch a film about a man going into the woods to find himself, I'm just going to watch Moonrise Kingdom.
That's true. That's
There's
even better. That's a better one.
What was the movie with Daniel Radcliffe?
Oh, the one with him and
that was
Paul
actually
Dano.
pretty good. That was very rough.
Where he was the dead body, or was he the
No, they went to.
They went on the jungle
a trip
tour
in Brazil.
Yeah,
and they went to the Amazon, and they had this. They went on a.
What's this called?
I forgot what it's called.
I can look it up real quick.
But they took a. They ended up having to turn the path because there was like some criminals that they were trying to avoid.
Yeah,
and they went the wrong path, and they got lost in the Amazon, and he got lost out there for quite a few days.
Is this the plot for Guns Akimbo?
No. Let's see.
I don't know about that.
It's totally
movie.
switcheroo.
It was
okay. Here it is. Jungle. He was Yossi Ginsburg, Israeli adventurer.
But it was actually a pretty good movie, but it shows you how dangerous the Amazon could really be. Like,
well, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Then there was also another one that showed. There's another one, a documentary that showed like what it was like climbing K2, touching the void. My God,
I would
dude,
never do
that
that.
was a freaking like roller coaster of a movie. But yeah, okay, we're going to end this recording here, everybody. We got other stuff to get to, but this was Avatar: The Last Airbender, Book 2, Chapter 2, The Two Lovers, The Cave of the Two Lovers. So we hope you enjoyed So we hope you enjoyed this, and we hope that you'll keep joining us for the next episode. If you want to see that, there's a link down below in the description. It'll take you to our Patreon where you can see that. And I guess until next time, everybody, signing off, I'm Nate.
Micah.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Nick.
And we'll see you in the next one, everybody. Peace out.